Good morning, Azeroth. It is the 11th of August 2024. Grab your morning beverage and welcome to the stream. Today we'll be hopping straight back in to the Radiant Echoes and the Pandaria remix. Not got loads of time left, but more than enough to get folks up and done. Starting on the Echoes. Catching those first two waves of people jumping in and through. At least that's the hope. We'll see if there are enough players on a Sunday morning. If there's not, we'll just jump straight back over into the remix. Oh, there we go. We're already off. Hope we're all doing well this morning. Got a few more hot days on the way here in the UK. Got our quest before. Let's see. We're on 100%. Are there people about is now the question. Let's go have a look at one of the bosses, see if there are people there. Oh, there are not. We'll be in bother. There's not a lot of people here in the first 5 minutes. I reckon we won't be getting much done on our lonesome in terribly sorted gear. That's alright, we'll bob in at the next hour. So it's worth checking. On the weekdays, there's a lot more folks early morning for whatever reason. Yeah, this room's usually packed. Alright, we had our goblin who is now 54. So we will jump in on our Nightborn warrior. Those cloak percentages up past the 200% mark. Shouldn't be too difficult to get everyone up and through. Once the expansion launches, this daily routine of just going in and level people, while that might be a little monotonous, I'm well aware. We've got the stream all set up and the schedule in place so we can get straight into the War Within and enjoy ourselves all that delicious new content, story, endgame, etc. For now though, we do what we do every time. Going to start by just signing up to the various raids. We can do 5 at once. We'll start with... I know we usually start at the top and work down, but let's start from the bottom and work up today. Just to change it up. We haven't seen much of Siege of Orgrimmar, leveling these earlier alts who didn't have access to it. A gigantic dungeon for Transmog Farm, just because of how long it takes to get through. We'll slap Terrace in there as well, so we can do 5. You're doing that too fast, says the game. There we go. We'll get our regular scenario going. We'll get our regular dungeon going. Quickly jump over to our tank spec and make sure it's got all its points bobbed in as necessary. Uh-oh. You know what? We're going to hit start a build and let it just quickly sort us out. I figured that might be the case. Oh, goodness. So many buttons. Where's my shield? There's my shield. That's Ravage. That's Gouge, which we don't need from Thunderclap. There's that Spear, which we don't need there. There. Oh, it's alright. We got fast people with us this morning. Look, this mage running through. Everything's getting one shot. Grab aggro where we can. There we go, a level already. Unsurprising, everyone else just catching up. He's not going to be waiting for folks. Yes, we dare, Fishman. Okie dokie. Dead Fishman. It's briefly waited. Priest has given up. That's okay.
I require a tower.
We've got one, it's alright. How fast he's going.
Too far away.
Fastest mage we've ever seen. Look at that, the quick ice lances. Bop, 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 bop. Try and get everyone gathered up.
Your forces are weak.
I don't know about that this time, my dear.
Will not fall into you.
Oh dear.
Been lifted from my eyes. Forgive me.
I need to target.
That's 2 levels. Oh, it's so hard to argue with that. Look, 3 levels. How quickly we fly through. Okay. That means Avatar needs to be on this bar somewhere as well. Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess everywhere. Love to see it. Headed straight into the scenario. Back to Ukaduka's island. And this fella who trundles his way up. Again, it's still unclear whether we have to just sit by him the whole time to ensure he keeps moving. So if you go ahead and kill them all first, he kind of just lingers. Let's have a sip of our tea while we're waiting. Ooh. It's one of them Shadowlands mounts, I believe. There's a patch that I never got fully around to. Played a decent amount at the start of Shadowlands, and then as things descended into, everyone hates this, it kind of became frustrating to try and engage with the game when the constant conversation is of a more negative vein. But as changes went on, came back towards the end, after a brief stint into a few other MMOs.
Greetings, wanderer.
Which I wouldn't say eye-opening per se, but it was very enjoyable to see other games in the genre giving WoW some proper competition on what was being offered. That can only make the game better, and those games themselves. There we go. Right, he's up there. We would go grab the booze, but okay, that Tauren fella's there. Oh no. Now you see, we're not just booping stuff down immediately. Scaling has gotten a little tougher. Whereas we were doing this before, we'd be 1 or 2 shot in all of these. Still not a danger by any means. We'll leap our way around. Find more of the booze. How we do it? Well, they've nearly completed everything in the cauldron already. Chuck a spear down. Seems like it's a good one for PvP, chaining enemies to a location. Oh, there's a beer. Game. Oh, it gave me it. Thank goodness. Only the 5, but it's okay. We're contributing. We're contributing. Oh, and our 5 will do it. Whee! Here comes Cat Tanuke. You better be ready to get some ook in your duka. That's right, hopefully, for the War Within, we will not be doing any more Hosen voices. I know that a lot of people like him. A lot of people, just as I'm excited for Jinyu to maybe one day be an allied race, there are plenty of people who want the Hosen. Oh my goodness. Been sleeping on upgrades. Alright, we'll sort those out as we wait for our raid queues. Absolutely getting to the point with days about a week left in here that I do need to have a quick look at a guide for those treasures in Kunlai. Just because I don't want to miss that Chen hat. It's very iconic. I love me some transmog. That's why we're here. There we go. Gems out, gems in. We know the drill. Save all of that for bronze. Oh, get them back in. Here we are. I'm very curious how they're going to handle the transfer of all these characters over. Gonna have to hope there isn't any major bug where characters are either gone, deleted, missing, all over the shop. Hard to say. There we go. Oh, mustn't forget our spools and our bronze. Look at that. Legendary one. Big old cash. Oh, so much bronze. We'll certainly be spending a day just buying stuff. Be like the remix, anything that's like remix specific first, like that what won't be, as far as we're aware, available again,
You seek answers,
will certainly be the priority.
seek the truth.
Look at that, we started today and he was what, 62, and he's already 66 in one dungeon and one scenario. 66 rather. Come on, Barra. Basic math. Better shield, or way better shield. Very good. And the postmaster has some goodies for us as well. Where is the post box? Is it inside in here? Oh, it doesn't matter, we're in. I'm just gonna... Oh, he's got 8 things for us. Hey, look, another level. Oh, thank you, postmaster. Might not even have to do all these raids. We got another move that we need to put on somewhere. Goodbye, hamstring. Shield charge always feels like it does an absolute load of damage. Liked it a lot on live. Have a swig of his tea. Don't want it going cold. Make sure you're all doing the same with whatever beverage you've managed to get this morning. Oh, it's the longest bit. Kisses. So, for this part of the raid, we have to go along the beach and disable all their cannons to let the boats come in. And then what actually happens is some parts of the raid have to sit in this middle bit and fight stuff there. And other groups have to go and attack these towers. But it's a little timer that goes down as the goblins unlock the door. And that can just take a little bit, especially when stuff can die so quickly. You'll end up just being sat about for a moment. It's alright. It's the nature of the game. Look at that. People already rushing through. See if we can be of assistance. Nay. And I imagine for folks who weren't playing the remix or did at the start, but now seeing that, oh, we've got a week left, and everyone will be rushing to do the same thing. Whether that is getting alts leveled up, or getting bronze for all the delightful cosmetics, folks will all be doing the same.
You think you have won?
Here we go.
We are orcs, pure blood, commanded by the greatest war chief who ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
Your blood will fill this bay.
Oh, Garrosh. Listen, he worked pretty well as a villain. It was easy to hate him. There are still members of the player base where you see comments on Garrosh videos or lore videos about him as like the true war chief, and it's like, okay, all right. It's just a shame that some of the story that interplayed with him, like at the end of this raid, for example, where he gets arrested, for lack of a better term, the whole trial and lead in to the next expansion into Warlords was all done in the novel. And I've said on here before, I've enjoyed a lot of the WoW novels, but you cannot put your main lore transitions through
No doubt
just in a
about
novel.
that.
It doesn't work out very well,
Blessings
and it's
of
very
the
unpopular.
Earth be upon them. The beast be slain.
Heroes,
Wait, what?
take the towers. Turn the...
You may have to fear
Someone's run forward to the next boss.
but the gate.
Some
What?
of you will need to stay behind to hold the beachhead.
Wait,
Dragonmaw clan.
what does that mean?
Retake the door.
So there's someone just running ahead killing the next boss. I've never seen that. Oh, healers, please. I've got bad gear. I need help. See that? We nearly went down straight away.
I require a
Having to
target.
actually hit cooldowns.
We're here for Kalimdor. Get forces inside.
Storm.
They're doing... Like, they're killing the Dark Shaman boss. Well, we're waiting for the towers here. That's crazy.
Have we done?
How is that possible? Where are they? Wow. I suppose we still need to kill this boss for it to count as finished for our 7% bonus, but even so, that's pretty crazy.
I am out of range.
Make sure we do our job. Nope, you're all locked here with me.
Closer.
Big charges. Sorted. Let's say folks will be on the towers, they then have to climb their way up. Disable the cannon at the top. Use the cannon to shoot the dragon. Do the same on the other tower. Then bring the boss to us. You can see that very small at the top there in the middle of the screen. Tower progress. Oh, just clear me throat. Oh, that's better.
So it is an honor to find
Oh, there's Nazgrim.
you in combat, Lotaro Gar, for honor and for
At least we know where the individual stealthing ahead, our little assassin, has gone forward. Oh, does that just count as done? It does. There's our 7%. Wild. Make sure we hit that now.
We are
Breach the tower. Bring it down.
We'll wait to get the boss done like everyone else, unless the entire group leaves.
Turn the siege weapon
Don't feel like just running out on them.
and bury them alive.
She seems to be assaulting her own towers.
It doesn't seem like if that was a strategy employed by everyone, the vast majority of the group would have been following that individual. Next tower. Oh, the group's starting to peter out. Just a little bit.
I need to target something first.
Right, we'll do our duty. At 68, I'd wager maybe one, maybe two more of the raids will sort that. People just leave him, but we'll remain till there's just a few. Nyom goes the monk. Still counts as a fight. Can't be specking while we're here. Keep supping at his tea.
Dragonmaw, advance!
I must get closer. I require a target.
Actually pressing cooldowns. I'd love to see it. Right, they're nearly there on the second tower. Excuse me. Do you mind? Somebody needs to go kill that dragon. Right, then go in now. Ah, there's some going in there. We're good, we're good.
Next squad.
Our other tank's in there, that's okay.
And there goes the other one.
Keep aggro. Oh, demolish a crew.
Too far away.
Hold the banner. Stop it buffing them. Keep shield bashing, just tong, tang, tong, tang.
Sometimes I impress even myself. and down goes the dragon.
Lofama.
You do realize we are directly below it, right?
Hey, there we go.
Finally, I will never get all of this dust out of my robes.
Oh, you're still here? I had kind of hoped you had perished. You would make a
Don't know where
very
everyone's going. There's no point now.
corpse.
I will
Postmaster
get
will
that
send us our stuff. We're all good.
We'll hold the
All right. And in our dailies,
Traveler, goodbye.
the big old bumps.
What do you want? Guard yourself.
Again, it might seem like, oh, we've got all the bronze in the world to spend on cosmetics. The animation. Oh, so much power. Problem is, it's the upgrading of your gear. Again, to hit those overpowered levels that, if we just click this sword here, that start getting pretty obscene. Like, we could do one of these main ones and that would be it. And that is this character's entire wealth of bronze gone in a shot. Right, gems out, gems in. While we have a moment. Ding. Server might not be necessary at the moment. There we go. Next free. We'll take the one with the shield, I think, just as a precaution. Now again, we did get boot pretty hard in that last one, but we were generally speaking fine. More delicious bronze. Very good. Postmaster. Some stuff. I don't think necessarily we were close enough to those bosses to get any loot anyway. Ooh, big waste. I liked that set with the big tusks and stuff. Found the shoulders and the helmet pretty cool. Just never got it in this colour scheme I quite wanted. One day. And that'll be one we can pick up from the various vendors here. Let's go have a look actually. We are just waiting.
What is your purpose?
Get the stuff. See, yeah, this. Nope, not this. Not the white tiger. Where was it? I know it's one of these. That one. Yeah, so there was this colour scheme for it. We'll be missing out on all these heirlooms, unfortunately. But they've never been a big interest of mine. Even though the heirlooms I do have, I've never had the gold to level them all up. It does make our leveling a little slower on the live realm, but it's, you know, it's not hugely substantial. Right, well, we're just waiting for a few more. Fly our way around, see if we can spot some rares. We've got some quests to turn in. Where are they? Oh, they're in the middle of a dungeon. Curses. A little bit of discovery XP as we swoop around the Vale. And we're over 300% XP gain now. It's a big old chunky amount of XP. So even just discovering will give us reasonable little bumps. Yeah, about a K each time, we take those. Just while we wait for those last few raids to bump us in. We'll miss Pandaria. Hope we return one day. Sure, it would be quite the undertaking to give it a refresh. But it looks like in hopes of making the game have more evergreen content. That once they start reworking areas, it will only be something they continue to do over time. Especially with the more modern... Maybe tech's the wrong word, but you know, how the models are all put together these days. The art style defining its shape a little more. It's always managed to stand out. It's one of the reasons WoW's been pretty timeless. And Classic's really popular regardless of how it looks. You know, a lot of people were like, can we use the more modern customizations? I believe it's a toggle, but having never ventured into those classic waters myself, I can't say for sure. Maybe one day we'll have a look into Classic. Sometime throughout the World Soul Saga. Those seasons of discovery are extremely interesting. Just in extra secrets, things to find, new content. Adding abilities to characters that they wouldn't otherwise have. Like Warlocks, being able to tank. Oh! Beat us to it. That's alright. Should we go and check if that world boss is dead or not? I didn't have a glance as we flew past. Probably dead. Probably very dead. Right, a bit more. We were at about half a level when we started flying around. We're almost leveled up from just doing so. One more raid might do it on its own. Okay. No giant boss monster. We'll wind our way back up through Kunlai. See our angry Shah friend. Keep having swigs of our drink. Or our tea goes cold. Hitting that lukewarm point already. There we are. Did not have that ability on the right button. Now in terms of the skyriding mounts going forward, the dragons in Dragonflight and the amount of customization you get to muss around and play with them, I've really enjoyed. Now I know for War Within, they're putting one of the big ones is like a little mini skyship you have for yourself. And that's going to have a lot of different options. The aesthetic is less interesting to me than a dragon. I'm not a big fan of the more techie stuff, if you can call it that. The Goblin and Gnome engineering, the sky ships and whatnot. I think they have a cool place within the game and the universe that WoW is set in. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but if those are the rewards we're going to have, we'll be seeing about unlocking all the different aspects thereof. We walked up and just done. That got us the level though. Better one-hander. Take that. Bronze and a spool. Our starter guide. Reliably letting us just pick up our talents as we go. Keep making our way up through Kunlai. If we level before the raid pops, we'll just jump onto one of our other alts and keep the train going. Have to bear in mind top of the hour for the Radiant Echo swap on live. Jump onto another alt there. Don't stand in the poop. Hope you are all doing well on this Sunday. Got a calm and relaxed day planned for yourselves, I hope. If you're busy and out there, take it steady. We're always here on a morning for those who want to come hang out. Welcome to natter on with me in the chat as well. Always happy to talk. But you know what I mean. The War Within will be doing our utmost to be reading and potentially just some basically rubbish voiceover from myself for any quests that are not. Having a focus on that story That's the plan for the Warsaw Saga. They're like, our story is front and centre. That's the biggest thing. Everyone who went to play Final Fantasy XIV, for example, was like, oh, this story is where it's at. And playing through up until Shadowbringers, which I know that's the best part. That's the part everyone was like, go play. Morning, AJ. Hope you had a good night's sleep and you're feeling awake and refreshed. Get yourself some breakfast and a morning beverage. Something warm. But that focus on story is something that Blizzard have put in like the interviews and their marketing very specifically. So we will have to see how well they hit that. Hey, no shower of anger. We will gently park ourselves nearby. I'll have a quick old Google about some of these treasures. Just so we can get that out of the way and I don't have to worry about it anymore. See. Well, Kunlai Summit Treasure. Ah, it's like the second search. Okay, we knew where the terracotta head was. Let's see where that statue of the tiger is. Oh no, just give me a map. Don't need a video on it, I just need a map. Mistakes were made. Nah, that's something better done for stream. Well, I've never been a big fan of energy drinks myself, AJ, but if it helps you get going in the morning, I ain't gonna argue with them. But congratulations on the lack of hangover. Always a joy. When one has been imbibing the night before, to not have to suffer for it come the morrow. Whichever gods deemed that necessary. As you can see, the bronze we're getting from these little balls has been amped up as we've leveled. So it's not an insignificant amount. We'll get some discovery XP as we keep going through. Let's see how we're looking. We're just waiting for healers again, that's alright. Swoosh our way about. Oh. There's Nizao, the Black Ox, one of the 4 Celestials of Pandaria, cleaning up his home from the Mantid. Another aspect of the region where you think, will they ever come back in the story? Don't know if they ever really leave Pandaria, so it's hard to say. Discover this island. Make our way up to the next one. I remember being full of, like, black and purple cloud serpents. Oh, fair enough, AJ. I'm not a fan of coffee myself. I've always been put off by the smell. My first boss at a greengrocer's many, many years ago. First thing he would ask me to learn. Make me my coffee in the morning. I got okay at making it. But even so, I will always stick with tea, and even then, I'll drink what tea's available. But I can get quite picky. I like my PG tips. It's just strong, heavy tasting. Everything else feels watered down. And there are a lot of people over here I've met over the years. We'll put Yorkshire tea, Twinings, all these different brands higher. Heresy, I say. Absolute heresy. But when given the choice to hit a tree, drink tea or not, I will always assume that we drink tea. Oh no, we landed. Mistakes were made. No stamina, no speed. In it, bruv. That right, fam. What interesting to see how slang evolves over the years. I remember when everyone was saying the word sick. And that always felt like a weird one. I'm like, sick innit, bled. And I'm like, okay. I guess that's a thing now. Language is always changing and evolving. I was listening to an old, how would I put this? Old journalist in the games industry, Jeff Gersman, like formerly of Giant Bomb, if you've ever heard the name. And he would talk about how the term gank was like a rapping term, like almost a criminal term of someone getting attacked or murdered, and how it slowly translated its way into games through like World of Warcraft and MMOs and eventually into MOBAs. The origin and changing of words I find absolutely fascinating. Hard to fear raid. Scary manted though. Not quite scary. I think with all the void stuff coming with the Wall of Id, mayhaps they'll make a return. Maybe while we're underground, they burrow a hole somewhere and suddenly manted. Give me that bronze. We're about half a level in now. We might well get leveled up from just 1 or 2 rares. Oh, you're a quest, not a rare. Discover XP is pushing us over by itself. We swap to a character that can heal and tank. That should help with the raid queues. We found yesterday on our healer we still got picked for damage. Yes, no, absolutely. If an individual is going to be canked, let it be in a game. 100%. Always folks playing. I never got the complaint of that, oh, I just want to play my game and not get attacked by another member of the faction, by people on a PvP server, and I'm like, I don't know, there's etiquette to be involved, sure, but when you're on a PvP server, you're kind of setting yourself up for it. And since then they added, obviously it's not turned on for the remix, but this war mode button basically enables world PvP or not. I had a bit of fun in Dragonflight. Playing with that, you'd get a little gun, shoot people off their dragons, and you could like barrel roll into each other to knock yourselves off the mounts. But then the world zone areas that were about PvP, when it got turned on, out and about it was faction against faction, you know, Horde versus Alliance. But then the specific like fight zones, it was a free for all. Anyone could fight anyone that wasn't in a group with you. So that just became an absolute mess. I was not a fan of it. Especially as a solo player, it's like, well, there's just a group of 5 of them who are well-geared, going around and booping everyone on the nose. But they did, for those quests, at least let you kill mobs in the area and get some credit. So you could still earn a reasonable amount of PvP gear. Especially if you're a collector like myself, who's more in it for the looks of them than the actual statistics. How do we discover this bit? What are you saying, game? Do I have to fly up the tree? Oh. Yeah, that'll be it. The big bit in the middle. Who would have thought? Alright. We have much of Krasarang. We can go fly round south. Keep an eye out for those rares. We're nearly done. Nearly level 70 with this character. About 15 minutes till the echoes roll over. That might be enough time to jump onto the next character, do a scenario in a dungeon, and then jump back over to live briefly. Get that quest done. We swoosh our way about. Aye. That they did. The people do that with all kinds of games. And don't get me wrong, there are some scenarios that are pretty infamous in WoW's history. There was a guild on a PvP server. This was vanilla time, where someone in the guild had died in real life. Very sad, very somber. And they held like a funeral procession in-game near Everspring, which was like a snowy region north of the... Oh, I can't remember which of the 2 continents it was on. I never really went there. And they had this big funeral procession, but it was on a PvP server. But they posted to it, like, they posted about it publicly, like, if folks want to come, this was someone who was well known, especially when servers were way more tight-knit back then. There wasn't all this phasing technology. And so another guild thought it'd be really funny to rock up and kill everyone. And there's a lot of debate of whether these are just trolling assholes. And they didn't respect the people there, or the people there should have known. Like, you're doing this on a PvP server and it's available publicly. You should have known better. I don't know. I feel like a bit of tact and respecting something that's happened in real life. That's kind of where I fall on that one. I think that warrants enough to be like, okay, let's not. But, again, a lot of people just find that funny. I completely see that side of it. But even so, I have a lot more sympathy for those in grief and just doing something nice. Especially back then, you'd be like, alright, let's all make characters on another server and do it in a starting zone, not as the characters this person knew. Like, I don't think that would have been realistic for folks either. Good morning, Kynan. Hope you're well today. Evening for you over there. Has the day been busy? This rare probably tick us over, to be honest. Of a boop, of a shield, of a stab. Some heroic alliance music. Our Nightborn here is a member of the Horde. The elven races have expanded across WoW to the point where it's quite ridiculous. For a player either returning or new, might be quite confusing, I'd wager. Hey, that's level 70. Oh, well done on the busy day, bub. Okay, we'll cancel those queues. You get yourself some dinner, you get yourself sorted and have a good old relax, eh? I hope, at least. I agree, AJ. Some form of preparation, or maybe even giving out false information in a public sense to, like, try and avoid some of that might have been an idea, but it is what it is, as folks love to say. Alright. We got time to probably jump to another one and do a dungeon. We'll hop back on our priest. Scary Sharmask got a ha. Ah, says the face. Quickly avoid coughing into the mic. Miscellaneously got a late achievement, that's fine. Don't know why I made her in here. This is not the best spot for it at the moment. Need to get back to a bazaar. Quickly pick up our dailies. Oh yeah, that's just one of many stories that have happened across WoW's history. There's a few YouTube channels kind of dedicated to going into the old stories. Community driven. What was his name? I'm trying to remember. It should be my due diligence to try and remember the name of the channel. Oh, it might be Reax. It's like R-E, a couple of the letters, XX, something of that nature. But again, there's a lot of interesting stories just from the game's history. And you got over 20 years of a community-run game. There's all kinds of stories. Now, if we do get into a dungeon in time, we must avoid what happened yesterday where we immediately let the tank die because we weren't paying attention. That was a very bad moment, let's say. Yeah, it was no problem. The rest of the DPS just went and finished the dungeon, but I can only imagine the things the tank was saying in the chat. Very validly so. This healer's never played the game before. Ah, they've just made their first healer on Remix and I'm dead. Ah. All I can offer is my sympathies. All these gems that will be bronze. Right, depending on the scenario or dungeon, we might only get the chance to do one before the rollover. All of the arsenal stuff. Oh, we're going to be buying all of it. Oh, I can't wait to be buying all of it. Right, let's go scenario. Depending on the length of it. Probably jump over to live then. And we're back to the island again. Game loves giving us it.
Tell me of your travels.
Come on, boat. Let's get going. Oop. What murder? Come on. Up the hill. Come on, do I have to push you?
Greetings, wanderer. Hello. Welcome.
Keep going. The fellow who's got his tusks. Look at that. We'll get them one day. Given they're not exclusive to like the remix, we can go and get them sometime. Oh, there's a ding. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Pain all of the hosen. Chastise. Holy fire. Holy fire again. Oh, he's stuck. Why is he stuck? Help me, please. He's running away. Silly game. It did indeed. That was the monk one. And they have a, like, similar to what the Pandaran's holding up there, they have one that is a staff and a giant beer keg. And they have said fans as well. And there are somewhat for all classes, for all of their specs. We've purchased a couple already. Just in the early days before I was streaming. But there's still plenty I've left just for a big old shop spree before the remix ends. I don't want to leave it till the very last day, just in case I get the timing wrong like I did with the Trial of Style. Again, besides the quicker leveling of alts, going and getting those things is why I'm playing this mode. Hit all these with Shadow Word Paint. Put a shield on herself. And we'll just AoE him down. Ooh, and now we're making our heals instant. Give us these mugs. Littering booze everywhere. They're not even finishing them. Graceful behaviour. More mug. They're decent mugs, though. Look how big they are. Love a good old big mug. You always run the risk of having your hot beverage go cold, but it's worth it for those times where you get it all going in one. Right, that's 14 of the brew. We'll go get that chucked in. Nib stabber? Don't stab my nib. Don't even know what you mean. Chuck the brew in. Rocket surgeon. It's like a bloodborne weapon. He's got that big pizza cutter. Surprised that never got into be a player model. Right, we'll make our way down the beach. Find the bigger ones. Now, if I go into here in the weapons, and there's all sorts these days. Those will be... Oh, there might not be in our list here. There's all sorts. So these ones are all ones that I've collected. Any in red will be ones that I'm not allowed to equip. That one's been cleared out already. And any that are blue are ones that I have not yet found or collected. Some will still be available, some won't be. Oh, where's the water flickering? That's scary. But it will give you the location, and these days you can track them as well. Again, WoW's cosmetic game, and the ability to go and farm stuff is one of those big reasons I stay and play. Its transmog system is What does this do? Oh! Why? Ow. We've never done this before. Let me down. Put me down. Okay. Stand close and catch the beer. Catch the beer, little mini game. But they're coming so fast. I feel like modern iterations of that were a little more forgiving. Oh, another keg of beer. Right, we can turn that in. So transmog is like, say, these are the pieces of gear I'm wearing. And transmog is like, I want it to look a different way to what it is. So the gear that is visible on your character. This is, I haven't done any transmog on this character as we've been leveling. This is what she looks like at the moment. But if I were to transmog a set, I could make it look like any other piece of armor as long as I am valid to equip it. And that can mean class agnostic stuff like this Dark Shaman shit they added. Or it can mean just any cloth gear that isn't bound to a different class or specific. It's essentially dress up. Like if you know in games like in Final Fantasy it's glamour, in Warframe it's fashion frame and it's changing how you look and all of that goodness. Destiny has it in a different way, but theirs was problematic. Memory serves, it wasn't the best system for it, but plenty of games do it nowadays. Monster Hunter did it with its oh god, what was its name for it? There's no beer around here. Oh, there's some there. What was Monster Hunter's called? It was like an appearance slot, but basically it's just making it look how you want regardless of the stats beneath. Or even changing the weapon type completely these days. And they've, like, over the years, they have lifted a lot of requirements on it. So it used to be you couldn't do legendaries, for example. But nowadays, it does let you do legendaries. Which is very nice. So if you went and farmed, like, Illidan's Blades back in the day, the Warglaives of Azeroth, you can now use them on your modern Demon Hunter. Or his, like, headband, his, like, little eyepiece. Exactly. So that's a big part of it. And again, it can be difficult for some games. Like you think about a game like the Dark Souls series or Elden Ring, where what a person is wearing really indicate, especially in a PvP scenario, you're like, right, I know this person's going to be heavy rolling. I know this person has a sword. I know the animations on that sword. Like stuff like that makes it difficult to add such things to games in that sense. In WoW's PvP, it's messy enough, it really doesn't matter.
Too far away.
But there are certainly, like, I'd love a transmog button for Elden Ring. But maybe that would be a thing, oh, if you're in offline only, kind of a thing. They have started doing, again, I'll have to see if the DLC's done any more, but they did start doing, like, altering your gear a little bit. Unfortunately, we'll be leaving this queue. Just because we're going to hit the turnover for the Radiant Echo. Like on Monster Hunter, there was a lot of pushback when that first got added in. It's like, oh, this goes against the vein of it. But I think what you'll find is people love to be able to customize how they look and want them to look how they wish. Like Barrow here at the top of my list. All of these, most of these have a transmog on them. Like, whether it's a theme, like my Death Knight here, with like honouring the fallen tree of Darnassus and stuff like that. My werewolf here being more of like a scrappy upstart with these gigantic axes. And our shaman just as a wolf theme. I think that's clear enough. Oh yeah, the Hosen were a delightful addition, if a little silly. People still call for them to be an allied race, or a new playable race in some way, shape or form. We do have a lot these days in WoW. Again, the many different types. You've got your Night Elves, you've got your Blood Elves, you've got your Void Elves, you've got your Nightborn Elves. We might be getting Half Elves in the future, which is quite interesting. You got your gnomes, you got your mechagnomes. We've got our Forsaken, we've got our trolls, we've got our Zandalari trolls, our orcs, our Magar orcs, and the customization within those orcs letting you pick all the different tribes now. Whether that's skin colours, tattoos, iconography. And even just for humans, they've added like a huge litany of skin colours, hairstyles, all that good inclusive stuff so people can feel represented. And they keep adding more. Like this red skin we've got here on our Draenei, if you played in Burning Crusade, you'd have been like, wait, you can't have that on your Draenei. That was only for the bad ones. Well, we went and did a little quest where we could recruit and bring them into the fold. And that gave us more. Both for lore implications and for customization's sake. Love to see it. Well, we're going to be in the very loud Radiant event, which is the Wrath of the Lich King version. Good old Tyrion Fordring here. I love him to bits. May he rest in peace. There's going to be a lot of NPCs shouting silly dialogue. I'm going to take our little rabbit shop mount. Again, I either got this one when it was on a big sale, or they did like some kind of charity thing where the proceeds all went to charity, and I was like, this is a good mount for that. Splashes of water. Let's go boop. Their version of Thor here. Good old Thorim in the mountains. In his ghostly form. Summon 3 clones of ourselves. Summon a giant white tiger. And keep punching in and about the mess. There are flip kicks, our spin kicks. Absolutely. And it's important to have that balance. You can't overbear people with one or the other. Especially in a game that's art styles like so specific like WoW's is. Can't keep that timelessness if you make everything too self-serious. Well, I know they're telling a serious story in the War Within, but I also know we've got stuff like there's an event in one of the zones where the weekly activity is to go put on a theatre production. Like, that sounds great. I can't wait to see what that's all about. There he is. He's going to say the line. Infamous WoW line. He's not. He despawned before he said in the mountains. Sadness. Right, we got some lumber up there. We'll go assist with that. So many players flying around. And those huge swarms of flying mounts. The event is much more doable.
No time for nostalgia, champion.
Mind the big snake. Just dragon kick our way over, that's fine. Try not to die. There it goes. Now our XP bar getting bumped up as we collect these memories. Where's everybody going? Everyone says this way. Follow the herd. That's the quickest way to get the bits done. Now all dragon riding or sky flying on their different mounts. We've got a moth up there. We've got a flying jeweled tiger. We've got some kind of mech. Dragons, phoenixes.
Here we go again.
So many. Mount and pet collect. Like, there is a whole Pokemon game within WoW. Like, just a whole Pokemon minigame. They haven't really expanded upon it in years, but it's there. If we go into our little pets tab, they all have moves. They all have, you know, effective, not super effective. Oh, it's alright. These days I can deal with puns. There was a long time where puns would just make me like properly cringe. Not the bastardization of the word cringe people throw everywhere these days. It's like nails on a chalkboard puns. I'm like, haha. But these days I'm even making them myself, so I'm happy to hear them nowadays. No bother at all. There's a level. New ability, Mystic Touch. And what does that do, game? While everyone's murdering the thing, we'll just quickly open the thing and be like, where is it? Is it a passive? It is a passive. The damage weakens the target, increasing their damage taken by 5%. Physical damage taken. We did read it properly. flip kick and we spin kick and we many punch. Just big punching everywhere. One. Let's see. More T or stacking damage. Oh no, we're in the starter build. Starter build, where do you want me to go? It's not flashing. Oh no. Don't make me think for myself. Not on this many alts. Oh yes, those prices back in the day were a lot. To get yourself, even just getting like the vanilla experience of getting your first ground mount. And then getting the upgraded version. Nowadays, you just learn it. And your first mount's really cheap. And the prices for learning and improving it are pretty negligible. I think that's just good. Again, if folks want that classic experience, they can go play WoW Classic. I think, especially now with skywriding and the faster flying, I think you get access to that at like level 10 or 20 now. You're just flying straight away. Come on, Wilfred. Tries to summon a demon of old. Gets murdered. Then we all fight this very loud Juraxis. His voice lines were, it's like, infamous. I didn't know if he was that dangerous in the group content he was in. At the point, he was very popular in Hearthstone as well. He was a big card in there. It was like one of the first cards that would kill off your hero and would become the hero. You'd see a lot of him in the more control-y Warlock decks and Handlock. My Hearthstone knowledge these days is nowhere near what it was. Don't get me wrong, AJ, there's still a lot of ground mounts they still put in the game to collect. And I'm sure they're taking a look at how Guild Wars 2 does its mounts and makes each of them interesting and have some... Again, not a game I've played myself, but from what I understand, gives each of them like a gameplay purpose or something to differentiate them from each other. And I wouldn't doubt that the WoW team is working on something similar for both ground mounts and others. Oh. So that was our Heritage Armor quest popped up. I've already done it on one Draenei though. Getting you more into your race. A bit of lore to go alongside. Keep flying around with folks. Not enough folks here to have this event banged out very quickly, but we're still making good. Is there a flying orca in this echo? I don't know. Oh, we landed as it completed. That's nice. We'll just take that XP.
Here we go again. Quite literally.
I know. We're straight back to the sandpit to beat some more bosses.
It seems Azeroth has no need for historical records.
Love you, Khadgar. You might remember Khadgar from Burning Crusade. Like in Burning Crusade, he was the wizard in Shatrath with the gigantic long beard. Very derpy looking model. He's had a shave since then. Bless him. The 1,000 gold is considered sod all nowadays in WoW. I am considered, like, my main has about 50k? Something like that. Like, my alts having a couple of grand each is considered very little. Like, there is the WoW token now where you can spend gold on a token to get game time. Because some players can buy that with real money and then they can sell it on the auction house for gold. It's taken a little settling in to get that into the economy, but giving players the chance to earn their subscription I do appreciate. Even if, again, my knowledge of the in-game and player-run marketplace is not vast. The changes to the auction house over the years mean that I can just put an item on there, it'll tell me what the average price at the moment is, and I can hit sell. Like, as a casual player, I don't have to worry about add-ons, I don't have to worry about checking websites for different prices. I can just get that done. That's fine by me. Where'd that big herd of players go? Did they go back to foreign? They did.
Are these Azeroth's
Stay your arms.
or ours?
I yield.
He was already dead. Ooh, new cloak. I know they snuck some transmog in here. Oh, that's a nice cloak. I like that a lot. Well, Dragonflight, they just added a big rework to a lot of the professions. And, like, skill trees are the wrong word, but kind of. Like, these branching trees to focus and specialise in what you were doing. For, like, a new foundation, it worked alright. I still need to do fishing and cooking. But I did the same. My paladin is indeed a blacksmith. Also cook some fish from time to time. Or we're going to die here by ourselves. Nobody's doing the web one. I know why. Oh yeah, we are dead. No, run. Roll away. Fly and kick away. Death. Where's my speed boost? This was a mistake. I'm sorry. Please, ghosts. Leave me alone. The aggro. Thank you. Very kind. Any mistakes were made. Oh. Oh, they didn't make this a skywriding mount. It's just our monk cloud. What's the other one we have on our hotbar? Well, the parrot. This was one from the Battle Royale event they did. Memory serves. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, someone who used to love WoW's PvP a great deal.
I wouldn't call this particular echo radiant.
It was a new take on it that just felt fun to play in WoW's little sandbox. We all back at the sandpit? We are. Everyone goes for these boss ones. The quickest ones to do.
Another will take my place. Your world is doomed.
It makes sense. You do one that benefits you the most on the class you're playing. Now there's stuff like work orders where you can get people to craft specific stuff for you. There were a few problems with it early on, but I think they ironed a lot of that out. And they're going to add NPC work orders, so for those of us who are not hitting the maxes of the best possible crafted gear that players want to spend the money for, but just wanting to increase the skill and level of those different professions, going to make that easier as well. I'm quite excited for that. Especially, like, one of my last things, again, a few months before streaming that I was doing in Dragonflight was jumping between all the different alts and just making sure they all had a profession and was building up this little profession train where they could all feed into each other, send the resources about and make stuff. The Warband Bank they've added should make that much easier in the expansion ahead. At least that's the hope. We'll have to see. There'll be some days of sorting out all those inventories and bank bits. Let's just beat on Arthur's for a bit. Make sure we're not standing in the death. I know, Arthur's. Bless you. Mind the Valkyrie. We're not in any true danger as long as we don't stand in the poop, but we'll be fine. Those food buffs and fishing for them are still a very integral part of both the economy and people getting what they need for their raid groups. Always see them up on the auction house. There was a lot of different ways to get a hold of the various recipes as well. Oh, we can't see a damn thing. That's okay. We'll just keep hitting. We'll keep AoEing and just watch for our health going down if we stood in the poop. That person's going to drop it right on the whole group. God damn it. Many skeletons. The audio having trouble with so many spell effects being thrown off. Still makes me a little nervous for the launch day of the War Within. I accept that there may well be disconnects, there may well be bugs. That's part of any expansion's launch, it's part of any big game's launch these days, unfortunately. No amount of testing or trying to plan with servers ahead of time ends up helping that too much. Oh, nearly died. Go kill him, spirits, while I just sit over here and heal a moment. Am I still stood in Defile? I am, it's everywhere. That's still defile as well. Please, game. I don't want to die. Okay, I think that's cleared. Nope. Nice. Warlock tank pulling him over. I mean the pet. I've always loved like cooking in like role-playing games, fantasy games, or even D&D. The idea of like on the side, I just want to try and make pizza. I want to figure out how to do that in this world. And I hope when they do get around to the cooking rework, it does go over well. There's our quest done there for Arthas. Being the Shepherd's Pie Master on the server would be quite something. We'll hand him in. There we go. Get her back to Dalaran. Alright, we'll bob back over to our remix alts. Straight back in on the priest, we got a dungeon and some raids to do. Let's get this one turned in, get a quick level up front. Boop. XP is 271% bonus. So go in very quickly. Get our spools. Get our chests, get our bronze. Better gloves, we'll bob them in a moment once we're queued up.
What do you want?
Extra 7k bronze. Right, let's pick more silly spells. Oh, take that one, that's just more healing. I can respect that, AJ. Does his job fighting, comes home, makes a shepherd's pie. Here's hoping they can diversify. Like, there's a lot of different foods items in the game. It's more, what else can we do with that besides just it being buff food? Can we go very lavishly silly with it like Monster Hunter does? Can we be making big feasts with silly animations? There's all kinds of stuff they could do. I'd need to look into how other MMOs handle it if anyone does go above and beyond. Maybe they could have cooking competitions or mini games associated with it. There's all kinds of stuff. Right. Let's get into our regular dungeon. And which of the gates did we do? We did the gate. So we'll do the other three here. Again, in the veins of seeing something different. And then I think we'll hit Forgotten Depths, because we didn't see that one yesterday. And we'll slap Guardian. I know that's the one we've seen the most, but it is also the fastest. Now, if only the game let that actually be the reality. It's a possibility one day if they get to the point of player housing. Maybe there's companions or romantic possibilities they could add to the game. That'd probably be way down the line. While we're here waiting for the queue, assuming it doesn't pop while I do it. So if I click transmog here, god damn it. But as you can see, this is where I can click and change what outfit my character is wearing, what she looks like. We can put this chicken on the back. There are some streams on the channel in that live stream section of YouTube where we did some trial of style, which was like the costume contest with some themes you had to hit. I really enjoyed that, but it only happens like once every 6 months for some reason. We've already done the quest here, so we'll just try and keep people alive. Shouldn't be a bother, as we are just running through and murdering.
I need to target something first.
See our dragon person there swapping in and out of their visage form. That monk's punches turned into slashes. Interesting. I don't know why. Hey. All these hoes and partying. We've got to break up the party. Take back the brewery. All their different hats. Don't mind me, Hosen. We're crashing your ook party, mate. It does keep them special, don't get me wrong. I just wish it was more than 6 months. It's like a fun little thing that could be once a month. Every couple of weekends. Like, I understand for like the Winter Veil Christmas stuff, the Halloween events, the summer events, all of those are in a season, and they've done a lot of work to make them more engaging and more interesting in recent patches. Well, probably now that I'm streaming the game, actually go and try and take looks at those as we go. The costume one just feels like they just need to expand on it, because it would be nice. More rewards for it, give it its own bespoke arena rather than repurposing elsewhere. Again, I wouldn't want it every weekend or every day. I'd just love to see it a bit more. So once every 6 months just feels a lot for a costume contest that can be timeless. I don't know if they've ever spoke to the reasons why it's that way either. I'd have to have a look about. It's not like it's a great pillar of the game, but given how important transmog is to everyone, or the vast majority of players, I think it'd stand up there a little bit more. It's alright, drunk ghosts. Don't think too hard.
I wonder if there's anything this healer isn't good at.
I require a target.
Choosing which group to be in.
They're so funny. Silly drunken ghosts just having a good time while we attack these beer spirits.
Yes, yes.
I love this dialogue for this one.
So close. Just a pinch of... Oops.
It's so well voice acted, I love it. It's so silly. And Pandaria had a load of serious lore moments, but it had so much just fun, silly, enjoying itself too. It's like you were saying earlier.
Bitter. Just a drop of honey and a cane of sugar and maybe some corn. Yes, more corn.
Yes! I hope they do one day. We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure it's on a big list somewhere of all the things they have to do to make things more evergreen.
No.
Oh, my favourite.
No, no, no. Yes. No. Peppers.
Peppers! What peppers? So covered in alcohol.
What is that thing? Doesn't matter.
He's so sticky.
Nothing will stop.
He's so gross.
Not when I'm so close. Maybe if
It's always my least favourite part about attempting to drink beer. Was that kind of like... Sludge is too strong a word, but almost like a layer it would leave on your hands by the end of the night.
it is
And you'd wake up and you just feel so dry. So bloated.
the name of storms.
Much prefer cider these days, and if I'm going to drink, I tend to drink rum. And I do have to preface, on a stream, this content is on YouTube forever. Please drink responsibly if you do so. Do not drink underage. Let's keep things organised.
What do you want? Do not share what I have said.
Aye, absolutely. Especially for an MMO, you can't afford something so big to keep one tone the whole time. 626. It is better. Wait for our rate to pop. Swap our things. Gems in, gems out. We know the drill. Many gem. And all this is bespoke content for the remix. These are not gems that are in the regular game. This is all for the sake of making ourselves silly and overpowered. There are some insane builds out there, I've no doubt. I'm just kind of hitting them as they come. There we go. This one. 3% more healing or power word life. Only usable if a target's below 35%. Ooh! I like that a lot. Grab that. Oh no, I'm never going to see it. That's fine. Q's about there as well. We're on 64 on Raishan here. I've heard similar sentiments from folks before, depending on the household or parts of the country you live in. I think when I was first offered a drink to try, I will have been before I was 18, but I don't think it had been quite that young. It depends on which members of the family back then. But well, I grew up pretty responsible about such things. I didn't touch drink for a long while. And then when I did, I overdid it. As long as folks are careful and safe would be my words to throw out there. But of course, especially when folks are young, they do not... Oh, he's got that PvP elite set. With the white and gold on the druid, I will never have that. Oh, sadness. That's one of those time-limited sets that will disappear. Oh, good morning, Cho. I'm glad we got a little check-in with you.
Who knows what secrets await? Many young Pandaren warriors have vanished into this tomb. Have your wits about you.
Oh, that was one of the bosses. Didn't even notice. Was it? Or was it just one of the others?
Was close. The door mechanism
All of this
seems
stuff.
to have activated with the demise of the
An
guardian.
offhand at
But fear
2.6.
what we may find within.
And one hand at 2.20.
We
It is
seem
not
to
ready
have
yet.
awakened a spirit of some.
Oh yeah, that's way more intellect. That's fine.
So the stories were true.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go. As you were saying earlier, once you learn what hangovers are, very physically, you start learning, maybe I don't want this. Obviously, when you're out with a big group, and that tends to be the focus of an evening, especially in the uni days, there was something to be said for just going along with it, but in all honesty, I'd recommend folks just learn their own limits, take it steady, don't have to force yourself. Tends to be where folks stop having a good time, or you end up on the floor somewhere or in a bush in someone's house you don't belong in.
Ancient allies of the Mogul. They must seek the legendary weapon within the depths of the
Good on you, it's very responsible. You learn a lot of discipline very quickly that young doing so. I wish I had kept up my job at the greengrocers for many more years than I did. Just made some poor choices.
I will stay behind and investigate this dais first. Fine, time to play.
Taught me a lot, don't get me wrong. I just should have kept at it longer, rather than thinking, oh, I want to spend this sweet 18th summer or what have you doing silly things with friends and family, and then realising, oh no, if you spend this amount of time staying with someone who's a family member, and like staying in the same room together, you end up getting very angry at each other or very frustrated, and you can't leave. It was not worth sacrificing more of that experience. I think it was about 2.5 years I was there. Went from part-time on weekends to full-time for a bit. I did enjoy the Christmas run, hoisting Christmas trees about in a van to people's homes in the village.
What a shame.
That was fun. Eh? But fun.
But it ain't no tea. Take your trinkets.
Good. You're learning, child. Have that hangover. It's the levels of hangover too that you learn. Like the ones that are just like, oh, I've got a headache and feel awful and I'm hungry, and then you eat and then you're like, you know what, I'm okay. Then it's the one that's like, the day is in bed. I'm done for the day. Someone bring me a small nibble, a glass of water, please, please. Grab our spool and our threads, and in our quest. Oh, we're hitting those epics. Not epics, legendaries. So much power it knocks us on our ass. Very silly. What is this one? Oh, we haven't been using Divine Word. I haven't done the big ghost one. Probably should have, but I just don't like it. I don't think I've picked any of the big cooldowns I'm meant to have for my spec. There'll be someone watching this randomly in the future going, my god! What are you doing? How could you have done this? It's horrendous. And they're probably right. In fact, I'm almost certain they are correct. I'm not healing groups at the moment. Not properly. Not in a way where... well, no, that tank did die yesterday, but that's beside the point. You know what I mean. Ooh. Find glasswork, especially with YouTube and the shorts and TikTok style content. I end up seeing a lot of professions being shared like that. Seen some videos of the process of glass cutting. It's fascinating. Feels like such delicate work, and you use such heavy material at times in terms of like hammering away at something, but making it like scoring it and cutting it in a specific way to form shapes. And then like the process of like stained glass and stuff like that. Very delicate work that does require a lot of dexterity and strength as well. Can't remember the name of the lady I saw doing it, but it was lovely stuff. Good on you, working up such a skill set. Is that something that comes into play still these days, or something you miss? Oh, I'm never optimal, it's fine. I dread starting the Elden Ring DLC stream, because I know that will funnel... People love to watch someone who hasn't played a bit of content in the Souls games, going in blind. And I know people will be in, oh, this build, these items, this approach, this play style. And I'm bracing myself beforehand. I am ready. I'm ready to be chastised. So do we go pirate? I don't think we go pirate. That would be silly. I like not wearing a helmet. Do we go Cthulhu Priest? Could go Cthulhu Priest. But again, I'm trying to keep to this character's namesake. You!
Looking for something special?
Stop walking away when I'm transmogging. It's very mean. I need some green. I'm honouring the character this is named for. Not sufficiently green, but the hair clips. Oh, video games and hair clipping and clipping in general. Such a difficult problem to solve.
Goodbye.
I'm glad you enjoy it, bub. And doing a job that helps out your local area, I can imagine, is rewarding within its own right. I'm not going to have time to do any transmog at this rate. Can we just hit a set? Ooh, that helps a little bit. Not doing the top hat. Green goggles. That's a bit too much. We'll just go hide for now. Green robe. It's a bit heavy of a green robe. Simpler green. Doesn't quite match the shoulders, but I like it. The cape's nice. Get a bit more green. And a little bit more green. Green on the hands themselves. That one? Yes, they're a bit old school, but that's fine. 2 fell green. That clips. Curses. Also clips. Side pant. I like that option quite a lot, actually. Green pants under there. Some green boots for our hooves. So few of them show up on the hooves. That's one we'll do. Nope, don't you do this. I'm so nearly done. We won't do the weapons for now. Just call that one. Apply and save.
Be careful.
The colours don't match as well when we're looking at them here. It's a start. It's a start. See, I did all. Oh, very heavy work indeed. Sorry to hear it was buggering your shoulders, though. I imagine, especially the further back you go, there was less support or consideration for such things. At least they were starting to cover you more. But it's probably wise to take the precautions of looking after your body long term when it's getting to that point. Don't want to be screwing yourself.
I need to target something first.
Right, we're back in the Siege of Orgrimmar. We're in the gates. We're murdering all the Horde who betrayed the rest of the Horde. Some more than others.
I must get closer.
Still, it made our thrall very sad. It's a really big raid for it, though. Oop.
I do not have a target.
Just trying to keep a little bit of heals on people. We need to keep pace, though. We're going to get locked out of a boss stop. Ah. Oh, someone's just casting giant lightning bolts. We'll just AoE heal. I think they killed him, it's fine. Let me at him, let me at him. Very angry Malorok. Absolutely. Anything you can keep using throughout life. Dangerous tools, though. Like sandblasters, I've seen seem very, very dangerous. You just blow holes in things. For the first time seeing that, sand can't be that powerful. Oh no, absolutely is. My experience with sand was we go to a beach. Occasionally, when I was a kid, I'd dig a hole. Just dig a hole to dig the hole deeper, and you keep digging the hole, and you make a little wall around the top of the hole. And how far can you dig your little hole until it falls in on itself? It was like, go sunbathing, go swim in the sea. We'll do a bit of that. But it's all about digging the hole. Oh, forgot to buff everyone. That's fine.
Friends, we've just about secured the surface. It looks like the
Mekatalk.
is going to be down here.
Ruler of the gnomes.
Don't worry, we've got your back. Forge ahead, brave heroes!
That's him on his little metal bipedal Mecha Strider. That was their names. Mechno Striders? Mech Striders. Gotta have gnomes. I don't doubt it at all. I'm sure there's lots of training and safety procedures to avoid folks just doing something silly to themselves or others.
Hey, we recording? Yeah? Okay.
Holy. Not a trick, boss. You've just got to split the group up and go into these different chambers on the sides. Open up boxes to build up a bar.
How you did it. That was really not the correct input code. Activating GB 11010 Armageddon class defenses.
Okay, we have a time limit to go through and kill things quick enough. And fine in the remix, but you had to organise your group, split up your healers and your tanks. Need to make sure I'm keeping people alive, actually. Don't know how many healers came down in this side. We'll just do some AoE spam in the middle. Keep everyone nice and healthy. Even though our heals are hurting them at the same time.
Initiating system reset.
Okay, done our side.
50%. Hey, system reset requires 2 modules to complete.
The other side did not get enough players and some of them died. Oh no. Bring that chain back down. That's a heavy-duty suit. But as you say, very necessary precautions with something so dangerous. Me over there. Don't DPS to it. No, let me go over there and heal them. Oh. Alright, they've got it, they've got it. Spread our dot. Make sure we're healing everyone. Give you some healing over time. I think we're all fine on this side for the most part. Smite 'em. Focusing on a little bit.
Module 2 at 50%. Hey, system reset requires 2 modules to
Ah, they did the other side before we did this time. That's good. We're about there, so that'll be sorted.
Module 2
Nice.
Target something
for
first.
system reset.
I'm not. I was a student quite some time ago. Moved back in with my folks maybe 5 years ago or so-ish, just before the pandemic hit. Maybe for about 6 months, a year beforehand. Struggling to find work. So in the past 3 months or so, I thought I would give this a proper go in to make full-time employment. Well aware that it will take quite a lot of time and luck to get to the point of being self-sufficient in any way. Still a lot of paperwork and governmental stuff to look for some support in that regard, but some, without going too much into detail, some medical conditions, mental health and mistakes over the years. I'm not in the best of spots when it comes to my employability, let's say. To keep a long story short. And I know with any creative medium, you have to get very lucky. And that, you know, people trying to do this for a living, whether it's streaming or making content, tends to be, oh, I died. And now I'm a ghost. And the longer I found that you're out of work, for whatever reason, it just makes it then difficult when there are those big gaps in your CV. Yes. I didn't realise that was a passive for me. Mr. Paladin, could you... We thank them. Even when a job interview would go very well and I don't manage to shoot myself in the foot, the phone call would always be, oh, we just picked someone who's got more experience. And you know, I could have certainly been doing more to get myself out there. Before we started doing this, it was looking into, right, what volunteer experiences can I do to start buffing up my CV? That was like, either I go into this full time, which I'm currently doing, or then it would be building up connection through volunteering and getting folks to, I say, bridge some connections, because that tends to be how most people are getting jobs these days. It's like, you got to know people, you got to get in somewhere. And without that, it can be pretty soul-crushing a lot of the time. But again, I cannot excuse the years of mistakes I made or poor priorities. But I ain't going to get into all that on these early streams, if at all. I do tend to be a little over-honest and, well, as we've already seen, overly rambly. Before that, I worked as like an online moderator for 2 or 3 years. Might have been 3 to 4. But you just end up seeing, I don't know, like I was used to seeing the hatred. I was used to seeing people just act the worst online. Like, I'd gotten to the point of dealing with that. But when you start seeing animals, a little bit of a gore warning for any who watch this in the future, I suppose, but you start seeing animals like dissected and put into cereal bowls. That was the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. It was way too much. And I know moderating on here, as things get more popular and the videos start getting out there, I will have to deal with some stuff again. But I would like to think in a place where people cannot send images, I will be at least free of that. I'm very conscious and aware of how lucky my situation is to have a loving family who are happy to take me back in and have helped look after me for so long. Got a lot to do to be giving back to them. I'm hoping, starting this streaming journey, I will now have the opportunity to do so as I work on myself, keep this regular route. Like, part of having this WoW show in the morning is just having a healthy routine. It's like, right, I'm up early, I'm not sleeping in, I have a responsibility to be dressed, showered, help out around the house a little bit, get myself going, keep that routine front and centre, make those changes. A lot more work to be done, don't get me wrong, these are still very early days. That's very kind of you, AJ. I am a sucker for self-loathing, self-hatred, all of that nasty stuff. I know plenty of people are. But as you say, focusing on the now, not looking backwards and just getting lost in that. Because you just stay there. You end up in a place where your life's not in danger and you're not going to starve, and you spend so much time looking back, you get paralysed. You get stuck. I know that's way worse for folks who don't have the fortune that I do in terms of a loving family or a stable home. Very hard for folks. Try and help where I can. Let's see. I've got 3 more raids left on the docket, but about 10 more minutes for the stream. We'll probably go through about 1 more as we fly about. Oh, got a cough, gotta hit that button. Oh, there we go. Let's have a swig of our cold tea. Gotta do it. Hate wasting it. Absolutely, bub. Absolutely. Just gotta bear it in mind. Let's check that world boss while we're flying past, see if he's still going. Whoop. He is not. It was to be expected. I think we've done most of the discovery on this character as well, so we don't need to fly around everywhere. Aye, we'd already got it. Nearly level 70 as well. Many swoops. That rare, that nearly killed us there yesterday. Hasn't spawned. A little bit of scenery. And Mist is still up. Mist of Pandaria is still old though. It was like 2013, 2012, 2014. It's around there. Still a long ass time ago. I hope they do get the chance to facelift it one day. Or at least give people, not just as like a go back and level through to see the story, but a reason to go to these old areas outside of what's currently available. In an effort to make things more evergreen. We know that's their focus in development at the moment. We know they're changing that focus from... Through all the recent expansions, there has been, Dragonflight aside, there has been a lot of borrowed power. A lot of systems where you're building something up and then chucking it away at the end of an expansion. Which has just led to a lot of creeping problems over time in the game. Especially those, oh, you must be playing every day to hit these numbers type stuff. They've been trying very hard to move away from it. I can absolutely respect the grit there, AJ. I know plenty of friends of mine over the years cut from that same cloth. Have that fortitude to keep going. I found it a little tougher to build that up later in life. But we're here, we're learning. We're doing. Kind of keep beating myself up for not doing so sooner. I think that's the better part of the zone. Get us up there. Now we might get one more in, we'll see. Pop in the next 7 minutes. I'll be swooping about for the moment though. Jade Temple. Always liked having the dungeons very visible in the world. Adds to that sense of place. Oh, there's loads of bronze up there. Give me all them balls. Gimme, 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 gimme. Nom, 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 nom. Hehe. Some small bits of discovery still. I'll take it. I'll take it. No, missed it. Ooh, a little bit down here. Hey, that's the whole area. Gives us some bonus bronze and spool. Not much, but a little bit. It'll all add up. Hey, we got in as a DPS? Terrifying. That's very kind of you, AJ. Trying to be. Click our starter build, get all that locked in for Shadow Priest, Madness and the Void. Ooh. Again, not class I played before. I don't quite understand it, but I've got a vague idea of what I'm doing. Those are both minute cooldowns. There's a 2 minute. We learn any more moves in here? No, let's move them over then. Oh, but now it's healer. God damn it, game. I feel like if I can provide a bit of escapism for some folks who love video games and try and cover and play through games positively, or as positively as I can. We're not always going to play games that are great. We're not always going to have great days. But I know those were the streams or content creators that kept me going when I was struggling to do so. If I can bring a bit of joy to even one person's day like that, I'll be happy. And that's the goal. And of course, making it financially viable is going to take time and work, but we're learning every day. I'm getting better as we go. One's going to skip the cutscene. We'll leave it on. Taunt Sunder Armor. Repeat. I don't even know if Sunder Armor as it was is in the game anymore. I'm pretty sure that's baked in passively now.
Heroes, I salute you. There's something right foul in these chambers below the city.
It's a goblin making bombs and blowing up things.
You're the ones that smashed up my juggernaut. Let's see how you like the newest addition to the War Chief's arsenal.
Oh, bless you, AJ. That's very sweet.
Oof, that looks dangerous. Get in there, boys.
Everyone in their remix has so many druids. So many druids. Person in the summer hat up front. Oh, well. I wonder how much of the encounter will already be done because we're watching the cutscene.
Deadly machine that is. Best watch your step
Moira,
down here.
Moira, your framing's wrong. We're over here. It's interesting too because Moira's a character we'll be seeing more of in The War Within. It's his big army. Now, we'll leave the cutscene and everything will be dead. Yep, there's the pile. No one else was watching the cutscene. They've probably all seen it too many times. We'll leap into a pipe and see if we get there before he dies. Whoop. Hey, we made it. Let's bob some damage on him. No Draenei Judgment. No danger in the easy mode of Remix. There we go. For the next one, it's an upgrade. It's a big upgrade as well. We'll just jump through this pipe. Whoop. 290. Gems out, gems in. And because we're swapping gear so much, it doesn't really matter that you're transmogging, because you have to reapply it to new equipment as you go. We did get a toy from the trading post this month, which is like it's a pseudo battle pass. You don't pay for it. You can just like earn stuff from it. You know, we pay a subscription for a while, so you're still earning. You're earning that stuff for free, but you get a limited amount of the currency to buy some of the stuff on there each month. And they bring back old items as well, and one of them is a little toy that just summons the transmog vendor right in front of you, wherever you are, on a 10-minute cooldown. Oh, the manted. A little bit Super Mario, a little bit. As the old fella would say, let's go.
We
A bit, like the N64 was probably the first like console that we got a hold of as kids
I must get closer.
and all played together. And Mario 64, one of them like formative gaming experiences, and a love for it. All the sounds, all the music,
I require a target.
all that little motion. Just for as much as I've destroyed my memory over the years, I remember that all so vividly by comparison to some stuff. It's like all the different drums, like wah, 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 woo, and it just keeps going. That little like the long jump, if it's Z and B at the same time, memory serves, and you just go wah. Cartwheels. Those goddamn penguins trying to beat you in the slide challenges. It was like that jolly music that was like da da ba 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 do 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 do, and we don't want to get copyright struck by Nintendo. No, they can be very litigious. Oh, this is a boss we have to be careful not damaging too much of, because it will break. I was a little behind for the SNES. Like, we'd played them at like the odd uncle's house or family member, so I played a couple of them, but it wasn't my introduction, as it were. But going to an arcade and seeing a lot of older games, it gives me a lot of appreciation for stuff before my time. And you see stuff like, what was it? On the Wii U and the Switch, they had Mario Maker, and people rebuilding old levels from that time. Just an excuse to go through it. It was a lot of good. Especially when game preservation is so finicky and not really done by the larger companies at all. For one reason or another. Is important. Will it break or will we get him? Get him. Nice. Alright. This will be the last one. I know who's at the end of the hallway up here. You'll see him in a moment. Good old War Chief at the time for a couple of expansions. Big old long story going between multiple. Horde players really... Some would call it the short end of the stick rather than the focus, because it was like, oh, they're going to be the villains. That kind of scenario. Or at least, you know, a member of their faction. Like, we're attacking Orgrimmar here. Like, this is Orgrimmar. And for a lot of folks, that didn't sit especially well. But, like, the Night Elves went through their worst of it too. And the various wars, like the Fourth War, was all over the place for both sides. I'm gonna rush forward to have a look. That's a big old collection. The GameCube was one of like my favourite. That was such an underrated system. Loved a lot of the games on there.
And speak for none but yourself. You betrayed our people to forge your fragile alliances, and I will take great
I love his voice.
in tearing them apart. Then you have forced my hand. I will correct the mistake I made long ago. Spirits of the wind, the earth, the water, hear my call. Come to my... Fool! My dark shaman have twisted and tortured the elements for miles around. They cannot hear you now. Once again, you prove too weak and powerless to do anything. Never powerless, Garrosh. And never alone. So, you wish to face off against a real orc war chief. So
It's great because it's a raid. We know we have to fight him, so they just have that little moment. Good effort for all.
Garrosh, son of Grom, will show you what it means to be called
I just love how the voice actor enunciates every line with there. He's got this big, forward, angry, like that going. I don't want to overdo it just because I don't want to blow out my mic, but I absolutely adore it.
Anger, hatred, fear. They are weapons of war. The tools of a war chief.
But when you accept the power of the old gods... Oh! I forgot about that mechanic. Oh, I died. Loads of people died. Everyone got hit by that. Oh. Then we get teleported into like a little mind palace. But I'm dead. I am a Healy spirit. And... Unfortunate. We will not be seeing the fight now. We will be in this room. I also completely forgot the giant metal balls that would roll through the arena. Oh, every time. Another popular fight, though, as far as I'm aware. It's quite the spectacle. So for my old gaming collection, like, the first thing I ever played, my grandfather had a, like... what was, I think, one of the first, if not the first console, the Odyssey. Just with one stick and a thing with Pong on it. We played a bit of that. Didn't quite understand it when we were young. We had relatives with, like, the Sega Dreamcast or the Mega Drive. There was, like, a Donald Duck game where you shot a plunger. It did. It killed a lot of people in there. Had a little, there was, like, an Aladdin game. There was an old Prince of Persia game. Like, being introduced to Sonic. I mean, Oh, I'm not walking all the way back into that room. Even for the cutscene. We're heading out. We're heading out. Oh, dear. But then again, it was N64. And then, around the time of the GameCube, we ended up having a... We're going to leave Q there. We ended up getting a... like a hand-me-down PS1, because we'd never had one. That was like the introduction to Tekken 3 and into fighting games. Then my uncle had like an Xbox. And that was like getting into Gears of War and getting into Oblivion for the first time. Really too young to understand either, but enjoyed playing them. And then moving on to the GameCube. Eventually getting an Xbox 360. I remember that very well. Because everyone was getting excited for Halo 3 coming out, and I played Halo 2 with friends. So ended up getting in around that point. It was all very exciting. I think when I was 16, that's when we worked on getting a PC for the first time. Like my own PC, not just the family one that could barely run anything. And that you know, suddenly you're into Steam, you're into games for Windows Live, God forbid. Or floppy disks. I'm grateful I never had to really engage with floppy disks. Even just installing WoW back in the day with like however many disks it was a hell of a thing. Let's get our character over to a nearby inn so she gets some rested XP. And stuff like with the Xbox 360 was like learning about indie games. Like through their like arcade thing. And that was a big eye-opener too, like then starting to listen to more about the industry, learning more about how games are made and getting curious about that. For I tried to study it in college and uni myself, and you know, listening to various podcasts about the industry and about gaming in general. I know how my love for it grew. Lord of the Rings was probably a like kickstart for most things past like Ocarina of Time and Mario, but very big hat. That's where we are now. It's like a Robot Wars game we had on disc at one point that I never see anyone talk about. I'm gonna have to like buy an external disc drive to like just put the CD in and see if it still works in any way. I'd love to stream that one day. Don't quite know how I'd set it up, but I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out down the line. Alright, well, with that then, big thanks to those who've joined me in the chat today. It's good to see familiar names popping up. Thank you for AJ for chatting along with me this whole time. And for anyone watching later, and all who've been here, thank you very much. If you enjoyed yourselves, please drop a like on the video. If you'd like to see more content from me, hit that subscribe button. We do our WoW stream every morning at 9 AM UK time. And then 6 days of the week we do various games on an evening, 6 PM. At the moment, we're playing some of the Riot fighting game 2XKO before going back to Warhammer 40k Boltgun. We'll have a few other games planned between then and starting the Elden Ring DLC. But all that content will be in the live tab of the YouTube channel for folks to watch at their leisure. Consider it evergreen content that people can always go back and find. Well, Baldur's Gate, when it was out, I can only imagine, AJ. Dragon Age Origins was that for me. Baldur's Gate 3 recently was, my goodness. Whole other thing. I won't get into it now, we'll be going another hour. Until next time, everyone, much love, take care, and bye-bye.